also have to understand how audiences work.
Or her people.
Yeah. And that will, as Richard says, vary from, you can't just say, actually, here's a computer formula for how people across the whole world go to the theatre. It's very different in each place. One of the things that we're really interested in finding out is how this very Welsh-based piece of work will function in an audience where the heart relationship with Lloyd George will be different. They are more likely perhaps to sit back and say, well, tell us his story, because we don't know it. And that's,
having worked recently in two very successful theatre companies, but in totally different areas, in Stoke, in Newcastle under Lyme, with Teresa Heskins running that theatre and doing a rep season there for 6 months, and seeing how she attracts her demographic audience into that theatre is incredible, and giving them basically what they want at times, and also at other times pushing them a bit into seeing something that they might not have thought was something that would appeal to them. And also in Theatre Clwyd with Terry Hands, who I'm going back to work with again soon, who used to run the RSC and the Royal Shakespeare Company, and to see how he operates a wonderful theatre up there in North Wales.
It really is important. I think that's the thing, is that, whatever take on it you have, the truth is that we need well-trained, well-skilled arts leaders in these jobs who are leaders who understand the nature of the artistic process, the nature of their audiences, and the nature of collaboration, because that is crucial to.
That's all it's about, isn't it? It's a collaborative process, even on stage with the audience. The audience then become part of the process as well.
Now, I have one question for you, Mr. Richard Elfyn, and that is, as an actor, when you first started out as an actor, most artists like yourself, will have their own beginnings, their humble beginnings. How did you overcome those challenges as a young actor at one time? Because without any management, that is. How do you manage to get your work across and recognized?
I was very lucky. I left drama college on a Friday, and I was employed on the following Saturday, to work for 2 years with the Welsh National Theatre, and that was the best beginning I could have wished for, to have gone into a theatre company that challenged me and also made people aware of me. So by the time I left, 2 years later, I already was being employed in different directions because of what I'd already done in the theatre.
There is no better start for an actor than to do a lot of work. And to do a lot of work in a variety of tasks where it doesn't matter if you make the occasional mistake, you'll learn by it.
Absolutely, you have to make mistakes.
Yeah. And Richard trained at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, whose principal, Hilary Boulding, is here with us at the moment as well. And I think that the standards achieved in places like that mean that the point at which you began your professional career was not as a novice, in a sense. It was.
They give you confidence. They give you practical experience and knowledge of the history of theatre and.
So during
and the tools the techniques, that you can fall back on stage when.
So during your college days, you actually took on a lot of internships and opportunities.
Absolutely, yeah.
I see.
Well, not so much internships, because that's not the system. The system is that
we went from one performance to the next.
There are public performances from the college which are of approaching full professional standard, and sometimes they exceed them. Actually,
I think that's what's lacking here in Asia, because
Yeah.
Especially Singapore, there are students who don't have that same attitude probably as you have, or in the West, and I think that's something that they should start adopting
Yeah.
as well.
Um,
So yes,
But as an actor, I love theatre. That's probably what I love doing most. But I also realise that there are so many other aspects to my work that I enjoy doing immensely as well. Cartoons, radio work. We work
We
together.
work
Films,
together on radio, yeah.
television.
Yeah.
I try to tell other actors, don't cast a fishing rod, cast a net. Because there's so much to there's so many different fish to.
Well,
to catch,
if you look at something like radio, which is in Britain is a very, very major form of, the afternoon play on the BBC has an audience of over a million, and it's a huge place. And what it's really great for is because there's so much product, and so much of it is actually very good. Writers love radio in Britain. It means that, I'm just saying this because we met on a radio production, didn't we?
Wow.
And this happens all the time. You go into a radio studio where you're only working with somebody for maybe 3 days, a week at the most, but you make these connections, and I think radio is a great example of that. That you're in a cast, you come in, and you find you're playing opposite Kenneth Branagh.
Absolutely.
Because there is that kind of meshing, and then off you go. But you've had that opportunity to perform with this great performer, and and so on. And similarly now, younger actors. Richard does a huge amount of radio work. Younger actors come in, and they're working with Richard Elfyn, and this is a big honour. So I think that this is as Richard says, you have to cast a net, not a line, and you have to have a portfolio of skills, don't you? Really?
I do have quite a few young Welsh actors who phone me constantly and say, because they hear me do other things, who do I contact? Where do I? And in that way, then you pass it on a bit. So you say, well, contact this person. You need to contact this person too, if that's what you want to do. And if you need to do this, you need to contact this person. So it's all networking within actors as well, within the profession as well.
What's your most memorable experience for you? Is it when you first accomplished, as a director?
What, in a whole career?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh gosh, well I think I've got very my memory becomes very short term, but I suppose it's always those sort of breakthrough moments. I did a play called Cargo, not as a director but as a writer, in Perth in Australia, and this hardly happens now because you don't get overnight reviews. But I walked out of the theatre, after the first night, went to the pub with everyone, walked home because all the buses and things had finished, picked up the paper from the corner newsstand, and it had this rave review for Cargo, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was walking home crying with pleasure, and I think that I was quite young, and there's moments like that where you think, everything that I tried, somebody else liked. and of course you shouldn't be too affected by critics. I've had the other experiences as well, but that is a wonderful moment. But I have to say, because my memory is mostly relates to quite close recent things, what we achieved with this show when it first reached its proper, because we put it through lots of little prototype versions and so on, what we achieved on that first night in Swansea at the Taliesin, where people clearly liked it very much, which of course we did. It's a very personal thing. We like it very, very much.
You don't know how people are going to react.
You don't know how anybody else is going to react,
It's an unknown quantity.
And so that feeling of it's getting there. It's getting across to people. We're sharing this with them. This thing that not only have we made it, but we love it. they seem to like it as well. You know, that is a wonderful feeling. There's nothing quite like it, actually, is it?
But we've set the play on a beach in Antibes in south of France, 1938.
Yeah.
1938, and in one of the performances, there were a few members of the Lloyd George family present, as I mentioned earlier, and they gave me and David a postcard that David Lloyd George had produced after being in
We could hold
Antibes.
it up if we had it here. It's
Yeah.
lovely, and it
And,
shows his family there.
But uncannily, he was
Yeah.
wearing the same suit that I wear in the show.
Yeah, and that
Oh.
moment, yes, that's
Yeah.
right, yes.
It was the same suit. And then you think, wow, how did that happen?
We got that right, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just-
So was that your most memorable moment for you?
Most
Recent
memorable,
one, yeah.
recent
Yeah,
one, yeah,
yeah,
probably.
yeah.
It was a lovely moment meeting people who felt they had an affinity with you because you were portraying somebody that was related to them.
Oh wow.
And as a result, when we were meeting later, we felt close as a
So,
result.
so between that moment and winning the BAFTA award,
Oh, yeah.
was that moment more memorable than winning the award?
Yeah, I think every job brings its rewards, you know, and I look forward to my next job as much as my past. The past is the past. It's happened. I can't change that. But
I understand.
and the BAFTA was wonderful. I played a schizophrenic in a film about the life of a tragic, true life story of a tragic schizophrenia sufferer, and it was amazing, but very harrowing to do. But it was nice to be rewarded for it in a certain way. But I think it can be also counterproductive to have an award, because we all have egos, you know, and I think sometimes if you pamper somebody's ego too much, it's dangerous. And I think it's important to leave your ego out of the room when you work,
Yeah.
and we do.
Yes, yeah,
And I think that's what we do best, is we leave the ego at home.
Yeah.
Before we close our program, I would like to ask, Mr. DJ Britton and Mr. Richard Elfyn, if you could contribute 3 key advice for aspiring actors and also aspiring directors, who want to pursue in their career, especially Asians as well, because they've admired so much of your work over the years, and so what would be the 3 key advice would you give to the next generation?
As an actor, my advice would go to a good drama college and get sound, good training to be an actor, and get as much experience as you can during that process. In Britain, the drama colleges generally try to set you up with a good agent at the end of the process as well. So they do showcases in London. I'm only talking about the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, where they
The others are
showcase.
similar, yes.
They showcase in Cardiff, they showcase in London, I believe they showcase in Manchester as well.
Yeah.
And all the other colleges do the same. And the agents are then invited to come and see these performances. And quite a few of the students, and most of the students then are picked up by agents as soon as they leave college, which is a difficult thing to get, a good agent. And that's probably the most thing you need as an actor, is a good agent. I'm lucky, I love my agents.
We share the same agents.
Yeah. But they are wonderful.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dream of
Yeah.
I couldn't dream of being anywhere better, really. So.
I think for me the key things to say, I suppose, as both a writer and director, are tell us a new story. Don't tell the same story that people have told over and over again. Tell us a new story, or if you're going to tell a familiar story, tell it in a really new way. Because actually the contract with the audience is one in which you are asking the audience to give up an evening to come and sit in quite often not very comfortable places in order to watch you do something, or your collaborators do something on stage. That's a very big thing to ask people to do. So at least pay them the courtesy of not boring them. Not boring them because you have some kind of thing you want to get off your chest. Tell them a new story, or tell them something. If it's more familiar, tell them it in a new way. Understand what I think the great director Peter Brooks said, that all great theatre is a journey from the ordinary to the special, which is incidentally what I think we try and do in the Lloyd George play, which is, that's to say, and the ordinary is the things that people in the audience can relate to. Yeah, they understand that. So, and quite often it's humour, isn't it, Richard? Yeah. So, but it's the ordinary things of life. But don't be content with the ordinary things of life, because that's banal. You have to reach from the ordinary to the special moments. But don't stay there too long, otherwise it becomes self-indulgent. So, you know, you were talking about the moment with Maya. If we milked that, if we'd done that, it would have become sentimental and indulgent. So understand the relationship between,
and build on it, move it on somewhere else.
Keep moving.
Keep it.
Yeah, remember
add
that.
to it.
Remember that drama, that the moment that drama stops, is the moment you lose the audience. The moment the audience is ahead of you is when you've lost them. And this is tremendous skill, actually to keep. And actually, in this piece, it's a thing we really, really worked on, didn't we? To say, well, what does the audience know now? And what do they need to know next? And what do they need to know? And what will surprise them? Alfred Hitchcock says that, there's only two elements of drama: suspense and surprise. Okay.
That's right.
So suspense, he says, is there's a bomb on the table. Everybody knows that the bomb is there. The suspense is, when's it going to go off? Okay. Surprise is when the bomb is under the table. Nobody knows it's there. Bang. Okay. So actually, you use these devices to keep the drama moving forward. And tell us something new. Tell us something, Lloyd George, it's an old story, but we found new things to say.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting about an old story is how new it is as well.
Yeah.
And how it parallels today's life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that in this play, that's the shocking thing, is that the political shenanigans in it.
Nothing changes.
Yeah, exactly. People say, it's still happening.
Old story, but new change.
Yeah.
Now, what's next for you as a director and writer, Mr. Britton, and also what's next for you, Mr. Elfyn?
Well, the truth is that we're great friends, and our paths cross frequently with things, but we don't only work together. Of course, So Richard's off to do other things. I'm off to, but we are in the process of forming a new company in order to take the kind of ethos that we've used in this piece and try and take it to. So that's very exciting.
A new piece.
Yeah, I'm working on a new piece now with Richard at its core, but other collaborators, musicians, and things. So we're looking forward to doing that over the next 18 months, really. Yeah. As well as conventional, our other, what we tend to do is, we have projects on the go, and then find time between them to develop our new projects together, and that's, what I imagine that we're going to do. And you pick up new things. During this, our production manager, Sarah Morgan, joined us during the Wizard, and she will certainly come with us into the next. So you pick up collaborators as you go along. Yeah,
she's wonderful, and she's a great stage manager. But because when you do a one-man show, you're very vulnerable, especially when you're rehearsing. Very vulnerable, because you're putting yourself out there, and you might be making a fool of yourself. So if you get, when the stage manager arrives, and you think, well, what's she going to be like? And I was going through a few bits, and I looked around, and she was crying, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to get on okay with you.
Because she was moved by.
She was with it.
She also has that great ability to read situations, and I wouldn't put too much of a point on this, but during rehearsals, Richard and I haven't always seen absolutely eye to eye, because you know it's a very emotionally charged process. You know, we love each other, but it's an emotionally charged. And Sarah is absolutely able to say, tea break, and, or yes, it's a skill. It's a skill. But that's, I think that's the wonderful thing. Theatre is, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but theatre is a kind of family, and it builds, and that's what's happening with us now. So
there's this big priority in Britain at the moment with fame and the X factor and being famous. Being
cheap
just
fame.
Fame for fame's it's not important, and that's it's not important. Work is important, but that's what I love. I'm a jobbing actor. I don't want to be famous. I just want to work on good
But you are
quality work.
famous. But you are famous because you've got the body of work. That's the difference. Cheap fame is one thing. Earned fame is something else, Richard. I think, you know. And yes, I know you don't court fame, but you are famous, and it's because you have earned it through a long pattern of achievement, and you know, and I think that's a big difference, you know. But you're right. I mean, why do we do this? Because we love the work. You know.
I flew out here today, and I'm a bit like this now. But on the way here, I had a phone call, you know, from a theatre company, offering me quite a substantial role in the play, educating Rita. So I'll be doing that at the end of next January. I'm really excited about it.
I always know when Richard gets a new job, he always phones me up and says, "Oh, guess what I've been cast in?" Right, you're going to play Father Christmas at the department store.
So I get to play the professor this time.
So I immediately, in educated reader, I immediately wondered why I'm not going to be the woman, you know. But
it's not good looking at it.
Well, once again, thank you for joining me here at the National Critics' Choice.
Yeah, pleasure to
You know, it's, you know, actually I'm the victim here. You know, so once again.
Well, it's 2-on-1, you see. So listen, we absolutely. I mean, I love Singapore. Richard's only just arrived, but he's going, "Wow, what a wonderful place!" So
amazing. So once again, folks, please do look out for their play, the Wizard, the Goat, and the Man Who Won the War. In Singapore, and if you don't catch it, like I said, do check out with the SMU, or even check out on their websites or their Facebook if they have one. What was your?
No, Robin, but I was just going to say, of course, yes, just Google it, because when it finishes here, it goes back to the UK, and there's another tour on then. So if you're travelling to the UK, you know, you may be able to see it there.
Yeah, that's right. Go to the UK and get an autograph from them. And once again, thank you for joining me here at the National Critics' Choice, the Stienberg Review. I'm Robin Stienberg with Mr. DJ Britton, and also a wonderful actor with me, Mr. Richard Elfyn. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
And once again, have a good week ahead. Thank you.
Wow, that was fun, wasn't it?
It was great fun. Yeah, thank you very much.
No, it's